Barcelona, Spain is the largest Mediterranean cruise ship port. It has rich culture, amazing and diverse architecture and art, incredible food, stunning beaches, buzzing nightlife, and beautiful streets and parks, convenient for strolling.
Hi y'all, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Becky.
And together we're a cruising good time. Barcelona is a very exciting town and a wonderful port of call on a cruise ship. It has a lot of architecture from Roman days, Gothic days, modern architecture. It's got a very exciting nightlife. It's just a fun town to go walk around in. And what I like about it, it has a fantastic food scene. It has over 28 Michelin star restaurants. You can find fantastic food anywhere you go in Barcelona.
In this video, we'll provide recommendations on what to do from the ship.
Stick around to the end of the video. We'll give our tips on transportation to and from the cruise ship and also what we did post-cruise for our 2 days in Barcelona.
Our post-cruise experiences can help you also plan pre-cruise.
If you're returning to our channel, thanks a lot for coming back. We always appreciate you coming by to watch our videos. If you're new to our channel and you just found us, please check out all our other videos on our page, and I hope you give us a like and subscribe and turn on those notifications. We try to put out really quality content, and we try to publish about once a week.
I must recommend the most visited site in all of Spain, Sagrada Familia. It is the most amazing, one-of-a-kind church that I have ever seen. So they started developing it in 1872, and then 1877, Antoni Gaudi was put in charge of the project. So Antoni Gaudi, he is the one that led Barcelona's art. He brought the Art Nouveau movement in with Catalina Modernismo. It brought practicality and decoration and movement and nature and light and no straight lines. Everything that he has built is unique and memorable. It's truly fascinating.
It is a remarkable church. It's absolutely gorgeous. You get inside, it's wonderful. It has 18 spires. It has 4 bell towers. It has a 12-pointed star at the top. If you do a tour, you get down in the basement. It's got a really nice scale model of the whole thing that Gaudi made down in the basement there that you see it up close. It's a wonderful thing to go visit, and it's very interesting. It opens up at 9 o'clock every day of the week except for Sunday. It opens at 10:30 there. Do buy a ticket in advance. You may not get in if you don't, but we really recommend taking a tour, whether it's public or private. Nice thing about doing a tour at Sagrada Familia is that it is so big and there's so much to see that really help you see it, because there's so many different sculptures, so many different facets of the architecture, use of light inside the building, that it really helps to have somebody explain all that, because you'd miss so much if you just in there looking at it.
So the church was built entirely from funding from donations.
Yeah.
And it was only about 20% built when Gaudi passed. And Gaudi knew it was going to be this way, and he gave his blessing to those that were going to go after him to allow some of their own creativity to go into the artwork.
There's 3 main facades on it. The oldest one, and the one that you see the most pictures of going back to the original one, facade of the Nativity. And then the newer one is the facade of the Passion of Christ. And then the main entrance, when it opens up sometime later this century, it'll be the Glory. And so there's 3 facades on there. You can go in and out the Nativity, you can go in and out the Passion right now. The Glory is still closed because there's no way to get to it from the street up to the building. And that's a controversial topic we're not going to touch in this video.
Yeah, and one of the fascinating things about this church is the light that goes inside.
It is amazing.
So Gaudi had said, sunshine is the best painter. And they had the thought of having thin glass, colored glass at the top, and then it getting thicker at the bottom. Different people have designed it other than Gaudi, but the colors inside that church are amazing.
It is really remarkable because the inside of the church is white and you have all this color in there. And the stained glass is quite a bit different than stained glass of any other church I've been in, because the old Gothic cathedrals from the Middle Ages, you had a large illiterate population, so the stories of the Bible were in the windows so people could kind of read them by the pictures. These don't have those type of stained glass windows. Instead, like Becky said, it's all colors, and it gives a feel of spirituality within the church. As the sun moves through the day, the colors will move around inside the building. It's really an amazing thing to take in.
Sagrada Familia was, of course, a UNESCO Heritage Site. Another important UNESCO Heritage Site designed by Gaudi was Park Güell. So Park Güell was designed to be like a neighborhood for wealthy families. It was going to have 60 different plots of land of triangular size. Each one could only have their home in 1/6 of the total area, and they were not allowed to be built too high that they would block out light or visions of the sea to their neighbors. Although the subdivision began in 1900, by 1914 they only had 2 homes. So it started being used for public events and eventually was sold to the city council and became a park.
There's a lot of neat stuff to see within Park Güell. It's very unique architecture to me. I assume Dr. Seuss stole the architecture style from Gaudi, but it could be vice versa. I doubt that, but it kind of has a Dr. Seuss feel. It's really neat to walk through. One of the most famous ones is the dragon staircase. That's at the lower part of it. You walk up and have a dragon in there. Gaudi had a really neat style of using tile chips, tile fragments. He'd break the tile and then they'd put it in as a mosaic with the tile fragments, which kind of gives a lot of curvature and allows a lot of neat shapes to it. At the top of the dragon stairs, there's a terrace, but below the terrace is also the marketplace. So the building serves 2 functions that way as well. Gaudi was very efficient in his architecture. There's what they call the walk of columns off to one side of it there. But when you walk through it, you kind of have the vision that you're walking through a tube on a surfer going through a tube on a wave tube, because it kind of feels like it's spilling over you as you walk through there. A lot of really neat stuff to take in right there at the whole Park Güell.
Yeah, and of course it's built on the hill, so there's a lot of stairs involved, but it's a fabulous experience. Highly recommend you go there.
This is another event where you need to buy your ticket in advance or use a guide, because it will sell out and you won't go in if you just depend on going to the will call box. So plan ahead.
Barcelona has so many wonderful attractions to see, but some of the best times can be had walking down the street.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the most popular ones to go down is Las Ramblas.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very touristy area. However, it's amazing. It has flower markets and restaurants and shops. It starts near the waterfront, right by that giant statue, or very tall statue of Christopher Columbus, and it goes to the Plaza del Catalunya.
It's just a lot of fun to take in. It's a grand boulevard. It's got traffic on both sides. In the middle, it's got a huge walkway for street performers. It actually has some restaurants out there in the middle of the walkway, so you can sit down there. We sat down there, did the very touristy thing of paying too much for a cup of coffee and a croissant, but taking in all the ambiance with all the trees, the people walking by, and all that. It was a great time. Be aware that Barcelona does have a lot of pickpockets. It doesn't have a lot of violent crime. It's a safe town to walk around in, but just keep your valuables out of sight, out of mind. We've heard of people losing iPhones by just setting them on the table at Las Ramblas, and they walk off almost instantly. So just be aware of that. You're going to be just fine, perfectly safe.
Another wonderful area to walk around in is the very Gothic. So this Gothic zone, this was inside the walled area. That has different remnants from Romans and different things through history. The walls came down around 1850s. Just love going through that area. While you're there, you can also stop by and see the Barcelona Cathedral.
It is a really fun place to walk around, taking that deep immersion. You got the narrow walled streets, cobblestone streets there. It's just a lot of fun. A lot of really good restaurants and bars in that area too. And that brings me to my favorite thing about Barcelona, I think. Even with all the outstanding architecture, it's a great food scene there. You got the paella, you got the tapas, you got the Iberian ham, you got the Spanish tortillas, all the seafood, and of course wine. It's a good Spanish wine.
Go, 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 go,
It is just a lot of fun. You can go from shop to shop there, make a meal out of just stand-up food. They have,
28 Michelin star restaurants.
28 Michelin star restaurants there. So if you leave Barcelona hungry, it's your own fault.
And if you stay overnight, one of the classic things to do for locals and tourists is to go find a high vintage point and have a glass of wine overlooking sunset across the city.
It is wonderful. A lot of the hotels have those rooftop bars nowadays, and the one we recommend does have it as well. We'll talk about that later in the video. And it was just a lot of fun to get up there and have a glass of wine and take it all in.
Barcelona has so many different things to offer. They have over 60 museums. Two of the museums I'd recommend are the Museum of National d'Art Catalonia and the Picasso Museum.
If you're a sports fan, they have tours that go to the FC Barcelona complex, so you can check all that out. And then, of course, they had the 1992 Olympics, so you can do a tour of the Olympic Stadium and all that complex out there as well. A lot of good sports venues to check out if you're a sports fan.
A wonderful day trip that you can take from your cruise is the Monserrat Monastery complex.
Mm-hmm. It's up in the mountains, about an hour out of Barcelona. It has a really large cathedral there, a monastery, an abbey, a very big complex. It's a very sacred area. We have some good friends that actually got married there back in the day.
Another day trip to consider is the Salvador Dali House and Museum.
It's about 2 hours out of Barcelona. It's in a town called Figueres. Hopefully I said that correctly. And it looks like a lot of fun there. If you're a Salvador Dali fan, it's got to be a must because it's a lot of his artwork there and his sculptures from his house and all that. The pictures on it are really interesting to be sure.
Barcelona has so many different amazing things to do. However, it's also a great beach town. Mm-hmm. So that would be another thing to do. That'd be very easy to get to a beautiful beach.
Yeah, a lot of shore excursions offered by cruise lines will go to one of the local beaches out there, and you can have a good time on a Mediterranean beach.
For planning your trip, you're going to want to know more about the terminal layout.
Barcelona is the 5th largest cruise ship port in the world and the largest one in Europe, so it has a lot of cruise ships coming into it. There's 5 berths on the port there, and they're labeled A through E. You need to be aware of which one you're in when you get off the ship or if you're going to your ship. There is a cruise bus that runs a loop around all 5 of those berths, and you can see it here. It'll make the circle, and it stops at the World Trade Center, which is this peninsula you see on the map right by the Christopher Columbus column statue right there at the waterfront. We're told that the one bus will make that whole loop going around all 5 berths, but on heavy cruise days, there may be a bus dedicated just to port A and B and etc. So be aware of which bus you're getting on. The driver can help you out with that. Make sure you get to the right spot. Another easy way to get around in Barcelona in general is Uber and taxis. Those are easy to find, easy to use. They're plentiful to get around. We used a private car when we got off the cruise ship to disembark. It took us right to our hotel, and then we used a private car a couple days later to take us over to the airport to catch our flight out.
There were 5 of us, so it was very economical to take the private car.
It was very easy.
We stayed at Hotel Yurbban Trafalgar. It was very convenient. It had a nice little breakfast, and it had a fabulous bar on the top floor.
That rooftop bar was a lot of fun. It was just great for the evening, end of the day to kind of wind down. And the hotel location was great because it's right on the edge of the Gothic area. It's right there by Las Ramblas, so you could walk wherever you wanted to go to. It's real easy to get around there. We didn't have to use any transportation at all except for cruise ship and doing our private tours.
Yeah, it was terrific. It was so convenient. It was fabulous places to eat nearby. The bar was perfect for watching the sunset. In fact, it was hip and cool enough that there were a bunch of Instagrammers up there with us.
So when we got off the ship on a Saturday morning, we really had a day and a half in Barcelona because our flight didn't leave till Monday morning back to the United States. So that Saturday afternoon, we hired a private tour through Viator, and it took us to La Sagrada Familia and also to Park Guell. Because it was a private tour, I think we got a lot of bang for our buck. There's 5 of us total. We got deep immersion into both those locations. He really did a good job explaining all that for us.
Yeah, it was quick, efficient, and then he dropped us off someplace that it was convenient to stroll through the streets and have a terrific time on the way back to the hotel. I think we stopped and had a little bit of sangria.
Absolutely. We sure did, because the sangria in Barcelona is part of that foodie tour, and it is absolutely wonderful. The second day on Sunday, we also booked through TripAdvisor a walking foodie tour. She met us up at Las Ramblas right there by the market. We did a little tour of the market and saw that. And then we set out through the Gothic area and had just a lot of food, A lot of good time. It was a couple hours, ham, wine, cheese. It was just a good event overall.
Yeah, we just really enjoyed all the food and all the company with everyone on the trip.
So check out our cruise page. We have several playlists on there. One that may be interested to you since you watch this video is one just for Mediterranean cruises. We get in some other Italian ports and some Greek ports out there on that. So give that a check.
Thank you so very much for watching.
If you like this video, please give us a like and subscribe. Turn on those notifications. It really helps us out.
Until next time, have a cruising good time.